Hi everybody, MayorBK here, and I'm very excited to kick off this new City Skylines series. A bit delayed, waited for the mods and things to get fixed after the large anniversary update the other week, but the mods are stable and updated, and I'm ready to get started with this custom city build. First, to start it off here, just a quick map overview from way up high here. You can see the original start square, although I'm going to unlock this with the 81 tiles mod and found our city in a different location. This is Mason's Neck by the L Train. This map is a really highly detailed map, features a lot of different resources, geography. It's actually based on a real location on the Potomac River south of Washington, D.C. And the L Train did a great job detailing this map, adding some things just to city skylines-ify the region, added a few extra highway connections, rail connections, things like that. Shipping routes, it has air routes, so it is ready to roll. I have a heavily modded build, so you'll see a ton of custom assets in this. I do like to play the game a little bit how the game is intended, so not everything is going to be plop city. We're going to have district themes to help get the look and feel of the city that we're going for. One of the reasons why I picked this map is because I was looking to build a mid-Atlantic city based on kind of the Delmarva Peninsula, Delaware, Maryland, Virginia, southeast Pennsylvania, south New Jersey. So I wanted to get a map that had that theme already, and after doing a couple test runs with some different maps, also working on modifying some of those, this map here, Mason's Neck, it checked a lot of the boxes. We're going to get it going. I'm going to unlock this with the 81 tiles mod and come back right to you here after we unlock all areas. Okay, so the 81 tiles mod opened up the whole map. Again, this is kind of the original start square right here. I'll zoom in on it a little bit. If you do pick this map up from the Steam Workshop, it has fresh water sources, has a couple flowing water sources to get rid of your pollution, your water pollution. Already has a built-in rail connection, forestry. It's a good start square, but I wanted to do things a little different here, and we're going to move the city a little bit to get started. So let's get started with the background. Bay County here in Delmarva. What you see is the whole county pretty much. Its principal city and oldest city in the county is the one that we're going to build today, and that is the city of Franklin. Named after Benjamin Franklin, the city was originally founded in the late 1600s. It was commissioned by William Penn, who advanced an expedition party to this region. This bay here is now known as Penn's Bay, and the expedition party came in from the more open waters, found a ton of resources in Penn's Bay, and followed the freshwater source up this small marshy creek. They landed here and then found suitable land just a little bit northeast of where the original expedition party landed. Originally, this was an expedition party that launched in the spring, so the original town was known as Springport. However, after his passing, the town decided to rename the town after Benjamin Franklin. We'll work on the port later in the City Skyline series, but the port is still known as Springport. It'll be down here, a little closer to the rail connections and things like that. But today, we're going to get building the city of Franklin. So for those watching that don't love grid systems, this series might be one for you. One of the reasons why I wanted to set a mid-Atlantic city and one that had kind of colonial roots is that it forces us a little bit to be very flexible with the grid. Especially in the Midwest, in Western expansion of the U.S. history, a lot of the Midwest is surveyed very evenly. A lot of the land in Western Ohio, Michigan, Indiana, Illinois, you can go out and measure 1 square miles, and that is how the road systems are laid out. counties are quite square or rectangular based on accumulating of the 1 square mile blocks, and cities are laid out very evenly as well based in that system, the land survey system that was advanced by Thomas Jefferson. Prior to that, the colonial part of the United States used systems brought from Europe. Essentially, those systems relied on compass positions and then also relied on natural formations such as a large oak tree, a big rock, so there's a lot of flexibility. This led to quite unique grid systems in a lot of the colonial cities, and we're going to take inspiration in this city build from cities like Philadelphia, Wilmington, Dover, Baltimore. Washington DC is a little bit different, but we'll take maybe a little bit from there, as well as inspiration from southern New Jersey, other parts of northern Virginia. So I'm very excited here. We're going to use the boundaries here that we see. That's going to be the boundary lines for this original settlement. The settlers came up here from the southwest and found really fertile land here in this peninsula and started developing their settlement. Franklin grew quite a bit, trading products from down the river systems, raw materials, and then also trading products in to other colonies and settlements further upstream. Franklin has a really nice position that they're located near deeper water and can get out of Penn's Bay into deeper water. So bringing raw materials in as well as trading raw materials out, this is one of the reasons why Franklin is the principal city, especially early on here in Bay County, Delmarva. And we're going to use a little bit of what's on this map already. There's some farm fields kind of laid out in a bit of a grid, and we're going to say the original settlements came in and laid out this bit of a grid, and then as the city grew, they subdivided their properties, expanded on those, and grew from there. So let's get in and get our first roads built and officially found the city or the town of Franklin. I guess at this point settlement would be more the way to do it. We're going to go off of this original founding point here. Part of the original survey systems that the colonial states brought over is going off to compass systems. You can see here we're pretty evenly pointed in the right direction. We're going to say this is north, and this tree line actually basically follows what is true north. But the great thing about the grid is sometimes it gets a little bit or the great thing about the early surveying system is it definitely wasn't perfect. So if we make any mistakes, it's not going to cost us that much. But I'm going to lay the first foundation up. And this will be the kind of the western boundary of our city here. We'll also lay the boundary line down, and you can see here where the tree line, especially further out, goes. That'll pretty much dictate our boundary line this way, and I'll make a note of that right now by just positioning that out that way. And you can see this tree line, it meanders a little bit, but it roughly goes out that way as well. So after our survey point here, that is a good mark to expand. Especially early colonial times, you obviously didn't have cars, so we're going to lay out a pretty walkable city, going 10 by 20 I think will work really nicely for these first blocks in the city. Before we get too far in here, we'll get zoning going. And get our utilities and things like that. So being close to fresh water, there's a couple different options. We can have water pumped in from the freshwater streams. Penn's Bay and this larger bay, presumably the Delaware Bay, gets a bit brackish as it gets into this deeper open water. So we're going to avoid pumping from there for now and assume that the first settlers tapped into some underground water close to the surface. And we're going to get that started with a now water tower, but probably a well to start. And just lay out some pipes here. To get everything going. I want to lay out one more block. And that actually works perfectly. It's right along this tree line. So these are the first subdivided plots for the city. We can go a little bit this way. I would like to go a little bit this way as well. We'll go 2 blocks there. Get water laid down this way. And we'll bring water up this way because we'll put our power plant up that way. A little bit of water in there, and that should work just fine. Now back up top. We'll go down from here. And that looks good to start. So obviously not starting at pre-electricity times, but once electricity became popular and expanded in the US, the citizens of Franklin really found that the first big source of electricity that was easy, cheap to get was coal. Coal could be shipped in, again, from the river system, from places like Philadelphia, Norfolk, Baltimore, and other northeast cities. So we're going to start with a coal power plant, and for now just put that over here. I also want to get water, and this will turn a little bit into a utilities campus on the industrial side of town. But that should be good to get water in here. You can see we have everything pretty much covered with water. So let's get zoning. And I'll turn the game on. Actually, before I do that, we can bring these down, these lower budgets to start the city, and we'll still have plenty of utilities. So let's get things zoning here. It's gonna be a pretty big commercial strip up here. Put some commercial up here to block just to block a little bit of putting residents right next to industrial areas. And now we can start. And what I do want to do, just to facilitate things a little bit and make sure we're connected to water, I just want to run a little power line. We can remove that at a later point once the industrial area fills in a little bit. And before it does, I want to work a little bit on this corner. We'll go off the grid. This, to me, got a little too close to the highway, so I want to work this back a little bit and bring this off the highway here. We'll run off the highway point. Now again, there wouldn't be a highway here yet, but this may be, you know, a trail, commerce way, eventually a road that we can work off of. And I thought maybe an angle would work nicely there, but it's a little bit short for having a true angle. No, you know what? We will work that angle, because that may be a road later that becomes more of a frontage road. So I do want to do that. Let's work off of this. Yeah, let's go back to that, work off of that line. Turn anarchy on to get that jammed in. And I may keep that a little bit there just for a survey point following that. Now once we finish there, we can continue zoning. And also continue zoning. Nice highway frontage there. I'm going to leave this open a little bit and save room for some future expansion of the utilities campus for when we need more water pipes and things like that. Bring that down a bit, and that should suffice there for plenty of industrial demand for right now. You can see we have a significant demand for residents, so we're going to continue zoning and leaving room for expansion of the city without taking eminent domain. I like to minimize that. see. So we have essentially kind of 3 blocks that way. I'll come down another 10. And congratulations, already Franklin has grown to become a little hamlet. With that, we have garbage disposal, healthcare, education, and campus areas. I don't need to worry about that quite yet, but I will get some garbage disposal in here in a few minutes. Alright, see, we're starting to make a little bit of money back. So that's nice to see as well. Make sure anarchy's off for right now. Very nice. Make sure these citizens have water. Now I like to go kind of every other square, depending on grid size. This grid is a little bit large, so we have to kind of add these feeder ones in here. I'll keep this going. This is going to be a main pipe down. And actually, to get water out there, I will just go to the next block and make another full block of residential. As our residential demand continues to be quite high, which is pretty typical. I do have realistic population mod on, so that should work to give us realistic household sizes, which, especially realistic population mod early on in the game, really means you're building a lot of sprawl and really focused on the residential demand. We can start to think about going that way a little bit, trying to keep the city a bit compact. And now that we have this road in here, get that watered up. It's a pet peeve of mine. I see it sometimes on other city builds. But water should be, the pipe should be under the road. In real life, typically water is under the road, water and utilities. You know, they're not going through underneath your house. They're going on the road or in a utility corridor just off the road. You know, in some neighborhoods between the sidewalk and the road, things like that. But yeah, you don't ever have major underground utilities, you know, cutting, say, diagonally across all those 10 houses there. Getting a nice little main street, and I'll speed it up a little bit. Check here, now that we hit Little Hamlet, how power and water are doing. You need to think about garbage. Healthcare is 0.6 citizens. Average health is 51. And if we don't do something about that, it'll continue to drop. So I will get a little bit of healthcare in. Don't have access to much, except that we do have access to more of a rural asset. It's a rural ambulance station. And that's probably a pretty nice thing to have. I'll bring this just off of Main Street. And I'll put that right there. That saves us some money too compared to the cost of a traditional health clinic. And you can see the ambulance station there just has 160 a week versus 400 of the medical clinic. And yeah, at least it gives us a little bit. Being our first city service, I have to go in and I have a custom downloaded fire police and ambulance services, so we'll put that to work. And already a worthy village. That's a great milestone that we have access to. A lot more policies, but one of the things that I really like to focus on is the districts. We now can name districts, have specializations, and now that we have access to districts, we can go in and add our district styles. So I use district themes to create the look and feel that we are going for, but click out of the ambulance. Yeah, because 1800s Franklin doesn't need Pizza Hut popping up right now. We'll get there. I have district themes for highway commercial that once we get to that point, we can certainly add it. But for now, I have a couple district themes set up that have, say, pre 1900 type buildings or early 1900 buildings. Same for our industrial area, older factories, foundries, those type of things. A couple, one square filler pieces, but yeah, we're going to use a lot of these here. So what I'm going to do is set up the first district here. And I can go pretty big here with this. Again, I'm just kind of tracing the lines that we have on the map already. The tree line here essentially is the boundary of Franklin. On the southern side, we'll bring the northern boundary across this tree line here. Let me just quickly run through, and I'm a little bit picky about the boundaries instead of a blob, so I'll speed this up and come back to you here in just a minute. Okay, I'm back, cleaned up the district border a little bit. Let's get Franklin officially on the map. Set the name, and then go in here to districts. So I name my districts kind of so I can see them very quickly. So commercial, low density, and then whatever the description of the district is. So these are, I got a little bit of lower density, kind of wall to wall. It'll look like Main Street USA here when that fills in. Another one I mentioned earlier is Old Town Industrial, smaller brick factories, foundries, things like that. For now, we don't have high density, so we'll come back and add or subtract to the districts as we continue the build. These are great assets from the Steam Workshop. The Chrysler Home series, I think I have every one, but they're going to be a really nice addition to the look and feel that we're going for. And then I'll add some early 1900s random assets that aren't the Chrysler homes. And Victorians would be appropriate here, but I'm going to save that for another project down the line. Those are more Victorian mansions, some larger homes, but we're going to stick to more of the look and feel of the city as the settlers and founders of Franklin built it. So what I'm going to do real quick is probably jump cut it. I want to force these to upgrade. There's a lot of vanilla assets mixed in with custom assets, ones that are more suitable for suburban areas of Bay County. Here is one of those Chrysler homes. I will double check that real quick. Yeah. But these KHH ones are what we're going to see quite a bit of. as we come back. So let me quickly jump cut it. What I'm going to do is just kind of go in and not eminent domaining, we're just forcing the game to rebuild with the theme intact. So that's what I'm going to do, and then we'll get back up to about 900 citizens. It's going to go through a bit of a wave of population as I update everything, but we'll get back to this point and then continue the build. Okay, hi everybody, MayorBK back with you here. After clearing out the original buildings and then getting the theme to activate, you can see now we have some nice homes that fit our time period. As well, we have brick buildings coming into the commercial area, and then our factories and foundries, our small brick industrial areas are coming in here as well. So everything looks good. It's always a little bit scary. I would always, if you're going to do that, save your game before you start wiping the map clean, because it's gonna look scary. All of a sudden, the income that you were getting is gonna drop to the red, and we dropped down population-wise from right around 905, I think it was, before I paused you guys and started the demolition process. Now we're back up to 923. Everything looks good. We're back in the green on the finances. We have growing population back to the demands where I left off. Yeah, electricity looks good, water looks good. I do want to get the garbage processing. Now our healthcare capacity is fine, 80 citizens capacity for healthcare and 0 sick citizens. You can also see here, I think we were around 50% before I built that ambulance station, and now healthcare's gone up to close to 70%, so we're in good shape on that. I will now unpause the game, let it continue rebounding. I think almost all of the residential areas have filled in, except way down here, and it makes sense that the residential areas closest to the jobs have filled in first. But while the industrial area rebounds, we're going to get a... Oh, that fits pretty nice there. I will bring it out a little bit. I still want to save this area here for a little water treatment plant expansion, but we'll get the garbage truck going. I actually don't have any custom recycling trucks. For me, the vanilla one looks just fine. Biofuel garbage truck, that'll be fine. And let's bring this down a little bit. It doesn't need to be 100%. Actually, we can even bring our healthcare down for now as well. I don't have police or fire in yet, or any schools. We can look to do that as well. And then I want to check our population for... We've hit Worthy Village. Our next population is Tiny Town. That'll be a big one to get park areas, industrial areas, and things like that. So, another big milestone here as we close in on Tiny Town. We're pretty much maxed out here in our first few blocks of Franklin. We use those tree lines to kind of define that first official survey point, and then the first subdivided plots in the city of Franklin. So we'll add a little bit more here. We'll start going down Main Street a little bit, and we'll first kind of grow the city up again towards the industrial area. So I think those lots are going to be slightly more attractive. We'll add probably 2 or 3 more here. Yeah, let's go 40. This should be 20. Yep. We'll go up. We'll go up 20. I'll go up 40. And that should attach there, so that's perfect. That lines up nice. Bring these roads all the way across. Bring that up. And these roads go over. Perfect, now we have that laid out. Basically, this gets all filled in. This will basically get all filled in with residential. I'll leave a couple spots here for street expansion. So we don't have to go back in eminent domain a house for a neighborhood road. Might happen for a highway, but it's probably not going to happen for a neighborhood country road. We can take out these utility lines, and that gives us a little more zoning here, as well as a little bit more zoning in this commercial buffer zone. And bring that all the way up to there. I need water pipes, but we'll get those filled in. Okay, got that all zoned up and got pipes laid, and that should fill in just nicely. While that's filling in, as we get a little closer to the next milestone, just want to check a little bit. Electricity is good, water treatment is okay for now. Might have to raise that up in a minute. And I took out the wrong square. Get those guys watered. So while that's filling in, let's go back to Main Street here. And I want to start thinking of some city services. So first of all, I want to upgrade a couple things. I want to upgrade Main Street. It's the heart of Franklin. It's the commercial hub of the county right now. So once pavement became commonplace in the county and in the United States, I think it's only fitting that Main Street gets upgraded first. And there we go, tiny town. So we can have park areas, industrial areas, a bunch of other policies. So very excited to add those. A bunch of new roads as well. Yeah, I'm pretty excited about that. Industrial roads. And in fact, 4-lane road. Let's get this upgraded first. I also want to upgrade... I'll hold off for a second on that. I want to upgrade this street. It's obviously becoming a main thoroughfare to the industrial areas, and I want to upgrade it down as well. I can see there's some citizens having some power issues, so I always like to check on utilities, especially when you get to these latest milestone points, to see how they're doing. So we probably need to upgrade a few of these. I'll upgrade the power and the water. And I saw garbage processing was a bit under as well, so we'll upgrade all these to about 75%. Healthcare, still good on the healthcare. So I'll leave that at 50 for now, and then all of our other services that we don't have at the moment. Okay, so this is our western boundary line road for the town. Let me officially name let me get Franklin Main Street officially named, and it looks like it works. It goes all the way out there. Now, the other thing that we can think about here is that right now Franklin has one entryway into the city. Although technically in real life they would probably use the shipping routes and get stuff in through there. But road-wise, there's only one way in. And this becomes a problem. Let's say there's a big storm and it rains, and someone's horse and buggy or Model T gets stuck in the mud on this road here. They're going to be blocking that one way into town for quite a while. Now, it's a little too early and we don't have access to the highways yet to add exits up here. I don't want to just slam that into the highway and create an at-grade intersection. And for right now, we can kind of pretend that that doesn't even exist in this time period. Again, that may be just a transportation route or, you know, essentially a trail at the moment. And so let's look to add a route in here. This will get us another easy way into this side of town, and we can start growing the town this way as well. But we'll come off 90 from this point, and I want to get it pretty much at 90 on the second intersection. I saw it for a second. So that'll get us a nice connection into Franklin from the south side. This becomes our southern boundary line survey point. This is our western boundary survey point. So we're in good shape right now to continue building the city. Now I have some assets from the workshop that I think will fit really nicely with the look and feel of the city. So we'll add our fire stations here in just a minute, but I do want to look at the road that we got access to. And it is this one. It's a small 4-lane road that supports medium traffic. I think I want to take this and convert at least part of Main Street into this road. It's not a wider 4-lane avenue. It should take up, yeah, it takes up the same basically space that this 2-lane road takes. So let me convert this part of Main Street into this small 4-lane road. Okay, that's nice. A nice way in on Main Street. For Franklin, you can see a lot of trucks and citizens are coming into the city. So that gives us a really nice entry, and still a 4-lane road, but compact as well. And while we're at this point of the milestone tiny town, the next milestone is essentially another 1,000 people, so it may be a little bit till we get Boomtown. But yeah, as we hit tiny town here, let's just check on traffic. Traffic's looking good. I think those upgrades helped quite a bit, and then also the adding of this southern entry point into the city. So as the city grows, I want to take a look here. I think this is going to be a good point here. Very central location for some extra city services. And I have a bunch of custom assets from the workshop. That one probably doesn't fit. This one is a wall-to-wall fire station, and I think that works really nice. It's a small fire station, so it's not going to break our bank, but that just adds a nice central city service. And a medium-sized police station. It's the same. It's a little more expensive on the upfront cost, but it's about the same weekly cost, so let's fit that in as well. And I think there's going to spur development immediately right there. Let's speed up the game, and actually while we're doing that, while there's more growth, let's set the vehicles to spawn. So let's get all these in. I have, again, a bunch of custom first responder assets from the workshop, so we're going to add a bunch of those in there. What I don't want is, we don't need the airport ARF unit, and I want to remove the vanilla assets. This one's actually a really nice asset. It's a large ladder truck essentially, but I already have a ladder truck right here in this custom pack, so we'll just keep our Franklin fire units the same with their scheme. We may add this in a different part of the city, but I think that's good for the fire. Yep, that's fine there. Just make sure it saved. And then again, I have a bunch of assets here that we can pull from. So, 2011 Crown Vic, Chevy Impala, some command units, a Ford Explorer, a Bearcat, and a Stealth Taurus. And we'll leave the rest for other parts of the city. Franklin is not going to have a European sports car without any highways or interstates into the city. So those are good. Police and fire. We have a little bit of healthcare, and we have our commercial district is starting to look pretty good as that comes together. Looks like our budget is still maintaining, still small operating funds, but at least it's coming along. And starting to see a little bit of level 2, so that'll be good. Once we get a school and start getting education, we'll see a bunch of the buildings level up in the next episode. So that's going to do it from the city of Franklin in Bay County, Delmarva. I'm MayorBK. I look forward to seeing you on the next episode as we continue expanding Franklin